Okay, this makes sense. Hey gal, how are you guys doing? Welcome back to another collective message with Jordan. I'm coming back from a nature walk that I was taking today. Happy Earth Day. At least that's where I'm when I'm filming this. I don't know if I'll be posting this today, but I kind of been putting together a lot of synchronicities that I've been picking up and what I believe this message that Spirit wants me to provide is going to be about. So go ahead and just take these disclaimers and take what resonates from this message. Leave any details that do not resonate with you. Everything will not be for you. This message will not be for everyone, but I do pray and manifest that this is going to be reaching the right people. If you guys are looking for any personal insight into your personal lives and how this message might be resonating with you, you can book a personal reading with me at the link in the description box. But basically what I'm picking up on is an ancestral / karmic cycle type of message. And I've been speaking to this collective a lot on TikTok. So if you guys also want to find me on there, it is the same username, Divine Gem J. Sorry guys, they're probably more used to it over there, but I stumble over my words a lot. But this seems to be a reading where I'm speaking to a collective that might be struggling to realign themselves with the right strategy to see some type of change or shift or expansion in your life. Some of these synchronicities that I was receiving, and this can again resonate with you in whatever way, shape, or form you could be seeing these things, hearing about these things. But I wrote down Von Dutch, Ancient Egypt, chess, knights. The name Isaiah was standing out to me, red cardinals, bluebirds, or birds in general. Shells, like seashells, but also like it's the spiral shell that like snails or slugs. I don't know why I'm thinking of slugs. Slugs, do they have snails or shells? I can't talk today. I don't know what it is. And every time I think about this reading, or even as I was writing my notes, it's like I'm struggling to stay focused or like stay in a straight path and just say what it is that needs to be said. It's almost like this message is just having a hard time getting out to this collective specifically a lot because I'm constantly speaking to you guys. But shells in general, okay, and then lizards. And I was also picking up ringing in my right ear a little bit earlier today. So I took that again as something about action or some type of strategy, again, that I feel like your spirit guides, your ancestors, the universe are trying to align you with in a way that you're like just now starting to get the clarity that you were needing to find before, which is really surrounding a lot of this magician energy that was kind of lacking with someone's courage or confidence to honestly like turn a situation around. 811 was on the timer as I was saying that. And what I was going to say for numbers is 222, 111, 311, 411, and 811 as well for synchronicity. So thank you, Spirit, for that. But it feels as if this collective really just needed to see that something was possible for them. I know on TikTok, I was speaking to a collective who was getting the right idea, but it was focused in the wrong direction. So for like a lot of situations in romance with like, well, I'm going to talk about the client reading I had earlier today a little bit later, but in a lot of romantic situations, I've been picking up the energy of people waiting around, honestly, for someone in their past to return, but that person, whether they returned or not, was not really meant to be the one for them. Like that energy in itself that they felt intuitively, energetically was very much real, but the reasoning that they were placing onto it, or the message, I guess, that they received from it was a little bit skewed. So it feels as if maybe this like hit to someone's confidence, or again, your sense of power and how you're connected with it at this time. It feels a little bit wonky. It feels a little bit off balance, and it could possibly be because maybe something didn't turn out the way that you hoped. But I'm also kind of getting at this time, this message is about releasing the things that we can't really fully control. And something that I did want to talk about in correlation to me and one of my friends I literally just got off the phone with, and then a client reading that I did have this morning. I'll actually talk about it now. But I figured out like an underlying pattern I saw with all of us is that the only shift that was needed was through any lingering like resentment or bitterness or anger or sadness that we were continuing to sit with when it came to the ways in which we were still really focused on the past and not on the future that was still available and ahead for us. And I was just telling my friend, like, you have so many years ahead of you to experience the life that you desire. It's not that it's like far out of reach or that it's going to take you forever to get there. It's just that the longer that we try to hold on to something that's trying to be released or let go of, that's not really meant to stay here, the longer it does, it's like the longer it almost takes to really energetically and emotionally and even in thought let those things go. And when you start to realize that, the Six of Cups coming up here, when you realize that you're really just holding on to what used to feel safe, what once felt comforting, and what is really just familiar and what is normal to your nervous system, those things don't actually mean that you should still be holding on to those things. You know, sometimes in this case, it feels like the reminiscing is actually what's hurting you and not helping you. For a lot of people, it's like their optimism for the future was more so in the shape of hope. And I say that very cautiously because I don't want people to believe like hope is bad. But the way that I've expressed it on TikTok is like your hope for the future was very, again, specific. And I feel like Spirit wanted this collective to think bigger and better. And that's why it's kind of like you're possibly being pushed back into this energy of reflection and going within where maybe did you go wrong is, and that feels very, or it sounds very direct when I'm saying that out loud, but like I feel like Spirit is kind of asking someone not to like carry so much blame and shame, but again, yes, where did you go wrong maybe in how you were receiving the messages, and again, how you are placing a certain emphasis or influence or perspective onto something that maybe wasn't meant to carry that specific message, okay? Maybe you're trying to apply for something, even if this is not romantic. It's like maybe you are supposed to be taking action, but just not in the specific way that you're doing right now. Maybe, again, you're holding on to something out of familiarity because it's actually more scary to believe that, again, you actually might have to say goodbye to something or say like, hey, this is actually done. There's nothing else that like I can get from this. I might have to stop fighting for this thing because it's not fighting back, or it's not wanting me as bad as I'm wanting it. Okay, I'm not getting accepted. I'm not getting chosen. Maybe the scary thing that is the most uncomfortable thing, but is the most aligned decision here is actually to prepare for something that's brand new, a world that you haven't discovered yet, whether that's internally or externally is what I'm hearing for a lot of you. But you need to be, I just keep wanting to say like getting ready for something that's bigger and better, or something that you haven't experienced before. I'm getting something about culture specifically. Some of you need to be experiencing people that are like very different from you or of a different culture. But whatever this is, again, this is coming in with more emotional clarity and alignment, where you're actually starting to notice that the overwhelm that you really experience a lot of times is because you're fighting this intuitive insight that you're meant to be moving forward. And again, not just really focused on looking back. That's the devil that's being released from you at this time. It's almost kind of giving me like, if I actually have to accept that this thing isn't mine, then that kind of leaves me in the spot of, again, what's next? And I don't know. And there's just like something very uncomfortable for this collective about that. You don't like not knowing something or not having something about like some type of support from other people. Some of you don't like being alone. You don't like being single, maybe. You don't like, again, I don't want to say being a hermit, because I feel like some of you are probably very outgoing people, very social people. And I'm honestly kind of getting you're possibly feeling very lonely. And at this time, again, that's where like the deepest and most needed lesson is coming from, is what you do with that situation, what you do with that feeling. Do you run back again, to what's familiar, or do you allow yourself to turn that into something better for you? Thank you, Spirit. Page of Wands. Yeah, I was saying something about you need to cut the curiosity that you have for your exes, for your past friendships, for your ex-boss who didn't do wrong. I'm just getting like, we need to stop looking back. We need to redirect our curiosity, because it's almost limiting the options that you're allowing yourself to come in by, again, always having your hands filled with things that you're telling Spirit you desire more. You desire this pentacle right here a lot more than you desire a 10 of Pentacles that could be built for your future. Or again, the other way around, it's like the 10 of Pentacles reverse is what you're holding on to. That future, that long-term future, and forever and happily ever after, and being rich and wealthy through this one specific path. Whatever this is that you decided to like hold on to as a contract or an agreement or a relationship, again, it's not aligned for you. So I feel like Spirit is just really asking me to be direct about the fact that, okay, we acknowledge that it's of value to you, but again, there's something more valuable that you're meant to be opening up to, and you're coming off very, very guarded at this time. And again, take it how it resonates for a lot of you, because this decision of what you need to let go of feels very different for a lot of people. And that's why I'm saying, like, for this message specifically, it's connected to like some type of resentment that you need to work through, emotional triggers that you need to almost like not run away from. And something else that I told my friend earlier is that like those things actually come through relationships and not through being alone and maybe hiding away, if that is something that you're doing at this time. If you feel as if the answer is always going to be found within, that's not actually the case. A lot of the healing that a lot of us need to do is actually through relationships with other people. And those are the things that can actually allow us to realize like co-regulation is a major thing in the human world. It's something that we're wired for. We're not meant to be alone in this life. We're meant to have other people. We're meant to have community, okay? Love in all ways, shapes, and form. All ways, shapes, and forms. There we go. But there's something about like the ways in which maybe previously in life you did not receive that type of co-regulation. You didn't receive that type of support. So in a lot of ways, you continue this cycle possibly in your life where you're always holding on to the things that aren't giving you what you actually deserve and desire, because that's what's normal, because that's what you've always been used to. Me and my friend were talking about how that really started with a lot of our caretakers, a lot of our parents. And it doesn't have to be intentional, but a lot of times it did go unknown, the ways in which that we were influenced to, again, hold on to things that we really need to be learning how to detach from. And so the longer we're practicing those practices, the longer it takes for us to realize like, hey, we're doing the wrong thing. I'm holding on to the wrong thing. Like, yes, this looked like my wish come true, but it's actually not giving me any emotional satisfaction. So why am I continuing to hold on to it? And I don't know, I feel like I really wanted to talk about my client reading this morning, because her decision was a little bit different. She did receive someone from her past who was showing up ready to do the work and put in that extra responsibility, really that it took to get to a better place. Like, her specific dynamic was of renewal and not of just a brand new person. But the resentment that she was holding on to from however their dynamic ended in the past is actually the blockage to what her 10 of Pentacles could be. So again, take it how it resonates. It's not going to be like so cut and dry or very clear and simple for everyone. It really is based off of, again, where your nervous system is rooted in, where your judgments and projections and opinions are rooted from, and how much shadow work you've possibly done. Because I'm getting a hint that not everyone sees what's in front of them as clearly as they think they do. And I keep stumbling over my words, so I hope I said that correctly. A lot of you are still possibly working through subconscious fears and anxieties that are clouding the opportunity that is already being handed to you at this time. And sometimes it's not even through another person. Maybe it's through something that is disappointing and hurtful and sad. So again, like for some of us, it's the relationship with our parents and family members and caretakers themselves, and the ways in which we're holding on to what should be a loving, healthy dynamic, but in reality is just not healthy, and we actually do need to disconnect from it. But that opportunity has to be consciously taken, and sometimes that is really hard to do because we're also raised to believe that, you know, everyone's mothers and fathers should be loving to them, and as children that's what you expect. And it's hard to like kind of shift that expectation if you haven't accepted the situation for what it is. So it's kind of giving like, again, however this message resonates with people, that's like the baseline. What is the reality of your situation, or what are you choosing to see about it? What have you chosen to accept and chosen to continue because it's what you're used to, what you're used to thinking, what you're used to feeling, what you're used to doing in response to being triggered in a certain way, or fashion. I don't know why I wanted to say something about fashion there. Spirit, is there anything else that you wanted me to talk to this collective about? Because I feel like that was very specific, but also kind of general. Anything else that is coming up for this collective, or that they need to know moving forward? I thought I was going to get into some oracle, but honestly, I continue to pull. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to pull some oracle because I'm getting the Three of Wands. So I'm still hearing think bigger, think better, but I'm also getting like, try not to paint a picture for yourself. I need you to just be open to a lot of opportunities, new opportunities. Private relationship to the past, a situation's about to explode. Something's about to shift. Again, with private relationship coming out reversed, I feel like this isn't about necessarily an external connection or a relationship, more so the way in which your own energy is trying to work with you, again, to bring about the change that you're wanting in your life. There's something here about, I'm getting the pregnancy test card and then betrayal reversed. Pregnancy does not have to be specific here for the collective. This is oracle cards, so I read them very intuitively as well. And from this combination, I'm honestly getting that, again, something about a past betrayal or a situation of deceit. Something is energetically returning into this collective's life. You don't have to be physically interacting with someone, but it's even like, again, the thought or the memory or the feeling of something is returning into your life, and you're not sure of how to interact with it or how to move forward. But again, Spirit is saying that what we've been pointing out that's been bugging you about the situation is where the direction is going to be found. Okay, I'm also getting trash and then investigating reversed. We really need to stop like feeding into the energy of the things that honestly, again, that don't nurture us, that don't reciprocate back to us what we reciprocate into it. It does not, I don't want to say it doesn't matter how you feel about it. I don't ever want to tell people like to act as if you don't feel the way that you do. But we also need a little bit more logical energy, because I'm kind of picturing the King of Swords in my mind right now. Spirit is asking you to, again, look at the reality, look at the facts, not the emotions, because your desires are going to cloud your judgment. And a lot of you need to be moving a lot more cautiously with your energy, okay? Because it's time for you to be, I don't want to keep using the word expanding, but it's actually time for you to achieve your abundance and to experience it. But it's actually, again, what it's being grown upon is a foundation of your inner security and the way in which that has been guiding you so far. Okay, putting on a show reversed, kicked to the curb reversed. I'm kind of getting, I'm hearing like multiple things right now, but there's something about a performance that you no longer need to play, and that's coming up so nuanced, but it's kind of like other people in your life, this lesson that you're learning through them It's like they're asking you in a lot of different ways that you have these connections and situations. It's like they're asking you to constantly perform an identity that you no longer need to hold or have, or again, perform as. You're changing internally and externally, and that's also triggering other people to respond in certain ways that then again kind of triggers you back to either continuously put on that performance or not. Okay, I don't know a better way of saying this right now, but it's like you're always standing in the middle of this fork in the road, in this liminal space that you've probably been sitting in for a very long time, it feels like, for this collective. And this is not, the first or the last chance that you will be given to actually make the decision that aligns with deep down inside your intuition and not just your ego. Not the ego that wants to be stroked, not the ego that has been taught to appease everyone else but yourself. I mean, like, what is actually best for you, even outside of what will make you feel happy in this moment, but what will make you feel happy in the long term. Okay. I hope this came out okay. But I'm just putting this deck down, and I'm seeing at the bottom of it, there was envy. Again, I feel like you're also triggering other people who almost like already knew this was going to be happening for this collective. I feel like there were some people who, again, they wanted you to continue playing this character, this archetype that doesn't really fit you. It's almost like it's an outfit that's too small, because they knew that if you ever broke that mold, you would outgrow them. You would leave them behind, and they did not want that. You could have received a lot of, again, fake apologies, a lot of performances from other people that continue to make you hold on to a contract that was always meant to be separated from, even if in itself it's something that comes from, again, your ancestors or your parents and the people that really raised you to perform and behave in the ways that you have. Because I'm kind of getting with those of you who are actually meant to be healing a relationship, the part of you that's struggling with how to do that comes from maybe not even having a healthy dynamic of love to look up to before, ways of how to co-regulate with another person, how to heal conflict with another person, and how to not just run away from it the minute that it gets hard. How to recognize when someone is actually showing up genuinely and not just, again, as a performance. It's like a lot of you are dealing with these different illusions, and it's not going to look the same for everyone. It's interesting. I pulled this card for a client earlier today as well, though, but something about a sacred symbol could be important for this collective, one that could bring you protection and guidance. So something that could be like a sigil, or I'm even kind of something about a triangle could be significant for someone here. It's just popping up in my mind. Oh, it's interesting. There's a triangle on the back of the card. But I'm also getting, again, a powerful ally will appear in your life. Welcome them. I feel like I'm speaking to a collective that's possibly literally having just met, or you will recently be meeting someone soon. I'm honestly going to close this out with some timing cards just to see if I'm picking that up correctly. Because I feel like, again, this isn't meant to be something that's healed in solitude. You are meant to be healing this wound or recreating, restructuring this cycle, okay, in a new manner, but it's through connection with another person. So Spirit, this is general, this is a collective reading, so it's not going to be the same for everybody, but can you give me any timing cards on when this collective could actually be meeting this powerful ally? Patience, not time yet. Next full moon, which I believe, again, I'm filming this on, what is it, April 22nd? I believe May 1st is the next full moon. So some of you guys could be meeting this person within the next week or two. But again, you don't need to rush to this point. Don't overwhelm yourselves. Spirit is making it very general now. By the end of the year, you will be meeting someone who I do feel will be significant to your healing journey. And I'm actually a liar. I'm going to end with one card of advice, just anything that the collective needs to see or hear, Spirit, at this time. Thank you for your messages and insight. Some of you, this could even be someone who is like an intuitive that you're going to be connecting with, who's going to help guide you through your life. Someone who could even be like a therapist, or someone that involves your shadow work, like your actual healing journey. For some of you, your physical healing journey, like healing, I'm kind of getting like chronic illness due to stress. You can actually shift your life out of these things. Don't listen to the doctors when they tell you that you can't, but it requires, again, some of these decisions that are going to be difficult, that are going to require confidence and courage for you to stick with them and then continuously make them for the rest of your life. Because a lot of these chronic illnesses that we live with, especially in the United States, are because of the stress that we receive sometimes in our connections and in our relationships, and the ways in which we do not allow ourselves to authentically shine and be ourselves, especially in dynamics and environments where, again, we are taught to expect that that's where we're going to be safe to do these things in. When you're told that someone that loves you is going to support you and uplift you and, again, do all these positive things, it's like these are the relationships that you're learning this lesson in, because you're actually realizing that that's not what's happening. So maybe it's not love, or maybe it's just not a healthy version of love. And maybe you have to be the one to take a step back from that dynamic to actually break the cycle for yourself, for other people. Hoo-ha. This could even be financial for some of you. It's like you need to be taking a leap of faith that really requires you to have faith in yourself, confidence in yourself. Sorry, I'm hearing my cat. Courage to do something that the people before you did not do. And that's why maybe they're becoming triggered by the ways in which you're allowing yourself to follow an authentic path or speak loudly and proudly about something that they would have been more timid about. Again, it's just about the way in which you're actually aligning your choices with your values. But pay attention is the card of advice. It says that you are being asked to pay extra close attention to the signs that you're being given, both the subtle ones and the ones that can't be missed. These signs will help you to see how to best move forward in order to live your best life. And then I'm glad I said what I said before, because I also see speak your truth. You've stayed silent long enough. Speak up, stand your ground, and state your perspectives. You will rise to a higher vibration when, there we go, you let yourself be heard. For a lot of you, again, it's like you don't even want to be avoiding conflict. You actually need to learn a lesson possibly through it, at least through allowing yourself to be heard, to be seen, and to be received as you are. No matter how the other person chooses to go about that, you're in control of yourself and your responses, okay? I love you guys. 3311 was on the timer. I think I did say 311 was one of those numbers, but thanks for sticking with me and my yapping. I will see you guys next time. And again, if you want to book a personal reading with me, the link is in the description. And I'll see you next time.